new neural pathways, and the information becomes automatic, and it happens instinctively, instantaneously, effortlessly, easily, thus creating the results as if by magic and as if by doing nothing. Now, all of this stuff will begin to make sense. I'm touching on a few things so you have a general understanding, so as we go further, it'll all start flowing into place. The 4 basic concepts that we discussed, and we must review them, and you must know them, because these are the foundation of all the information for the rest of today and tomorrow. It is the foundation. Remember, you can only build as high up as your foundation is deep. Some of you at the break came up to me and said, you know, we're spending a lot of time here on what I would classify as some very simplistic, very basic information. You know, when are you going to get to the real meat? And let me tell you the news. These 4 basic concepts, this is the real meat. Because the rest of the information is actually easy and simple. But none of it will grasp, none of it will take root unless you have a fertile environment for the rest of the information to grab, grow, take hold, and develop. It's like if you're going to plant seeds, you need to prepare the soil first. If you don't prepare the soil, if the soil isn't fertile, you can plant seed and you can water it all you want and get all the sunlight on it you want, but the seed will never take root and grow. The soil has to be prepared. If you're going to build a skyscraper, you must build a foundation. And that foundation has to be strong and has to be deep. Without that foundation, nothing will happen. And what are we looking to achieve here? You know, the first part of this weekend is entitled, Your Wish is Your Command, How to Manifest Your Desires. Which means, whatever you want in life, you can call it forth. Whatever you desire, whatever you want, you can give the command and manifest it in your physical experience. Whatever your heart desires, whatever you want to see in front of you, whatever you want to be, do, or have, all you have to do is give the command and it's there. You have Aladdin's lamp. The genie is there. Give the command and it will come forth with amazing speed. Whether that be happiness, whether that be money, whether that be a bigger house or something material like a car, whether that be something internal, a feeling, happiness, joy, glee, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a better relationship with the person you're with, whether it be happiness in your home, whether it be a better relationship with your friends, coworkers, children, family members, whether it be learning a foreign language or learning to play a musical instrument, or whether it means traveling, or whether it means doing something where you're praised and you're given accolades for, whether it be growing in your career and hitting levels of appreciation in your life from the people around you that you've always desired, whether it be getting your physical body to a place where you feel fantastic in your skin, whether it's physical health, whatever it is you want, this course is designed to give you the tools so that all you have to do, in effect, is give the command. Your wish is your command. Whatever you command, it can come forth. That's what we're achieving. Tomorrow we're focusing strictly on money. Today we're laying all the foundation for everything. That's the objective. And somebody always says, but I know this stuff. This stuff sounds something like I've heard before. Really? You know this stuff. You know it. Do you know it? You know it? Leo Buscaglia, great author, passed away now. He said, to know and not to do is not to know. It's like I had a friend of mine, he was giving a lecture, and he was talking about being positive. And I was at this lecture, and he was talking about how most people aren't really positive, enthusiastic, and happy, but that's a really key element to success. We'll talk about that later. And this woman raises her hand and she says, I don't understand. I'm happy all the time. And my friend looked at her and said, really? You should tell your face. And everyone cracked up laughing because she had this scowl on her face, which certainly didn't make it appear that she was happy. You know, she thought she was happy, but she certainly wasn't emanating that feeling. So if you think you know this information, but you don't have the results to show it, I can categorically tell you, you don't know it. You're doing something wrong. Think about it. You really know, you know how to do this? Really? Okay. You know how to make a souffle? Really? Well, how come you can't make one? Obviously, you don't know. You think you know, but you don't. Your teachability index is 0. Gabish, you understand this? Does this mean? I'm keep going back to these 4 concepts, the foundational concepts. Who do you listen to? The teachability index, the training balance scale, and the 4 steps, getting to unconscious competence. Now, these are 4 concepts that you should know, and know, just like your own name. So if I were to ask you, who do you listen to and why? You should be able to explain it to me clearly, concisely, with brevity. Who do you listen to? And someone said, well, how would you explain that concisely, Kep? I would say, very simple. If somebody say, who do you listen to? Listen to people that have what you want, that have the physical evidence that it works. That's it. That makes sense. Teachability index, can you explain that to me? Yeah, there are 2 variables. 1, what is your willingness to learn? Next, what is your willingness to accept change? You have to be high in both of those concepts. You have to be very high. You have to have a high willingness to learn. Well, how do you determine if you have a high willingness to learn? What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up your favorite thing to learn? What is your willingness to accept change? Are you willing to do something completely different? You need to be teachable. Training balance scale, can you explain that? Yeah, there's 2 sides of the training balance scale. One is the thoughts, one is the actions. One is the attitude, the motivation, the why, the dream, the thinking. And the other one is the how, the techniques, the skills, the action steps, the doing part. Which is more important? The thoughts are 99.9% of this process. Makes sense. Next, the 4th basic concept. What are the 4 levels of learning? You should instantly tell me, not by looking at your notes. Unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. And if I were to say, well, how do you get to unconscious competence? Well, there's 2 ways. By doing it yourself over and over and over and over again at the conscious competence level to develop new neural pathways, new patterns, new habits, and by observing and associating with people that are doing it. Observing, watching, mimicking them, and modeling yourself after them. Because they already have established neural pathways, and you're seeing firsthand exactly how it works. That's the key. Vitally important. Now, why are we spending so much time on the basics? Because, as I mentioned, this is the foundation. We need to have a fertile environment for everything else to grow. Otherwise, nothing else will stick. If you are my apprentice, these 4 basic concepts, getting you primed and ready to learn, is how I was taught. As an apprentice, I would follow my master, in effect. Now, it's not like a Shaolin monk following his master. We're not walking around in robes. Not like a Jedi Knight in Star Wars, where Anakin Skywalker was following around Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi was following around his master, Yoda. No, but yes. In my case, and in all the other people here that you've met, in our real life, we could all be classified as masters because we have had apprentices. But guess what? We still have mentors. We are all still apprentices, even though we've had many, many, many apprentices ourselves, in which we have been teacher to. But how does it work in real life in the societies? The observation, as I mentioned, is occasionally in a seminar, workshop setting in groups. Much of it is one-on-one, speaking one-on-one over coffee or discussing on the phone, one-on-one. Books. Someone says, well, how can you be an apprentice and observe from a book? Well, think about this concept. Do you ever read a novel, really good novel, and you read this novel, and you're sitting there, and you're reading the novel, and the novel is talking about the hero, and the hero is in the Amazon jungle, and he has his machete, and he's wearing a ripped t-shirt because his body is perspiring so much, and there's bugs all over his body. There was a slight rain earlier, so the jungle is moist and humid, and it's hot. And he has shorts on and hiking boots. And he has this large machete, and he has a bandana around his head, and he's going through the jungle in search of the villain. And you're reading this novel as it describes the green foliage that he's going through, and the types of plants, and the sounds he's hearing, and the bugs he's seeing, and the feel that his feet are experiencing when they mush into the moist earth, and the color of the earth, and the smells that he's having, and how he's breathing because of the heat and the humidity, and his tired, and how his muscles are beginning to ache, and his arm is beginning to get weary from the heavy machete chopping into the foliage as he's going through the bush. And as you're reading this, it's enthralling, it's very well written, and you're reading this novel. And somebody walks in the room and says to you, "Hey, Charlie," and you continue to read the novel, oblivious to your friend who's walked in calling your name. And the person says, "Charlie, Charlie, Earth to Charlie." And finally you look up, not hearing a word. And you say, "Did you say something to me?" That's happened to all of us. Or you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're so engrossed in this novel that you're not even in the room anymore, because you are in the Amazon. And you're oblivious to your friend 2 feet away from you, yelling your name. That's how. Now listen carefully. That is how you associate, you mimic,